welcome to another episode of the Pixelated Sausage Show. That's right. We're back, baby. I'm sticking with it for at least 2 weeks. This is episode numero duo, and I am, of course, your host, Marcus Nez. I'm here to talk about some games and what have you. I enjoyed the last episode. The feedback has been pretty dang positive, and I'm excited to do more of this. All right? People seem to be relatively happy with this general setup, the whole TV crap thing, and what have you. So, with that all out of the way, let's just get on to the topics. What I've been playing and all that jazz. Before I get to what I've been playing, though, I want to hit some other topics because I didn't talk about any of them last week. But, anime. I like anime. Y'all know I like anime. And this is an avenue for me to talk about anime in a very easy and simple way. But, it's the worst time possible for me to want to have somewhere I can talk about anime again because this season is it's one of the worst seasons easily. It is easily one of the worst seasons of the last few years, but it might be the worst season I've seen in a very long time, maybe ever, because there is not a single show this season that is new, not a carryover that's continuing from a previous season or what have you. Not even a sequel is good. There is nothing that has started this season that I am actually enjoying. Even the heavy hitters, the bigger series like returning favorites, The Devil is a Part-Timer, where we have been waiting for something for almost 10 years at this point. The sequel to that, kind of indifferent to it. All of the Night, or whatever it's called. Call Me by the Night? I don't remember. But the weird vampire show, I'm not super fond of it. It's got a decent vibe, but I think the story is stupid as shit. This whole setup of the only way of turning into a vampire is by falling in love with a vampire and then having them bite you. I think that is stupid as shit. When the one girl vampire was talking about how there are these vampires who have so many followers, they've converted so many people. It's like, is it so easy for them to fall in love? Like, how do you just need to say I love you, or do you actually have to fall in love with them? Are these other vampires just so fucking lovable that it's so easy for them to find? Like, I don't, whatever. Okay, stupid as shit. And the naivety of the MC in that show is really annoying to me. I don't like that writing. It's like, hanky panky. What's hanky panky? Why are you saying this? What does this mean? It's just like, he's a fucking idiot. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. I'm assuming that its intention is to be super sweet and cute to an extent, but really just sweet and tugging at the heartstrings because that's the only thing it succeeds at. It's not funny. It's not that cute, really. And the Yakuza, like, it's just not hitting the way I was hoping it would. And that show is definitely made for me. It has me written all over it, but it's not working. And then I don't know what other big shows are out this season. Made in Abyss Season 2 is a big one. And that may be good. I don't know because I never watched the movies, and the second season is a direct continuation of where the movies left off, so I'd have to watch those first, and I'd probably just rewatch the first season and then the movies before doing this, and that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think that's it. Yeah, Rent a Girlfriend. Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 2 is so bad, it's making me question if I even actually liked the first season. If it was the trashy, fun time I remembered it being. Because this season fucking sucks, man. It is so boring and dull, and I don't want anything to do with it. But I did decide, I thought I was going to take a break, but I think I'm just going to not watch any seasonals at all. And the few that I was watching, like Yakuza and Call of the Night, whatever it's called, and what have you, I'm just going to catch up with those and watch them as the dubs for them release, the English dubs, because I don't care enough to feel inclined to watch them subbed. But I did finally decide to hit the one main show in my backlog that I've been meaning to watch. I watched the first episode today. It is Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. And I was very fond of the first episode. It's very well animated. I love the art. It has a distinct look to it. But also, I love the writing because it feels like a show written by an adult. It is about a man who was a shut-in for 20 years, obviously. I guess he saved some teenagers' lives and was hit by a car and died, obviously. And then he was reincarnated into another world. We've heard this all before. And he's growing up. He finds that he's inherent magical powers. He doesn't have to use incantations to use his magical powers. He's very strong. He's very adept to it. And I am very interested in seeing where the story goes. I'm not sure if it'll be super unique, but at least in the writing, it just feels written by an adult and written for adults, not teenagers or young adults, but for adults. And I like that. It's nice having a show that, as an adult, feels is made specifically for you. It's nice. But I've only watched one episode, so who knows where it'll go and what not. But yeah. That's it anime wise. And then not anime wise, just finished the first season of Star Trek the original series. Been enjoying that overall. I had a rough spot early goings on where I really liked the pilot episode and then the pre-pilot whatever with Pike. I really liked those two episodes, and then I was kind of like with a few episodes after that, but I was continuously drawn to keep watching it even when episodes weren't hitting me that hard, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I'm going to take a break though in between seasons because it's good, but it's not something I want to just consume all on its own with no breaks for other kind of stuff. So yeah, but The Devil in the Dark, I believe was the name of the episode. Very, very good. I did learn that apparently it was the first Star Trek episode to not have a speaking role for a female, a lady character, which is great to learn that. And then I guess it was also the first episode that didn't start with them on the bridge of the Enterprise. It had a cold open on the planet, the mining planet, where a miner was killed by the monster. But it is a very good episode about how we are so easy and quick to be wary of the unknown and want to destroy it and shit like that. It's very, very good. Very, very good. But been enjoying that. Anywho, let's get on to what I've been playing. So first up is the Hand of Merlin. Oh my god. What the fuck? You know what I'm just realizing? I'm realizing it hasn't even been that long. I already forgot what the Hand of Merlin is. What the fuck is the Hand of Merlin? I played it, obviously, and I played it on stream. What is it? What is the Hand of Merlin? Let's do a little Google. This is great podcasting. The Hand of Merlin. What was this game? What were you? I see these images. The Hand of Merlin versus Evil. Turn-based roguelite. Wait, what? Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, fucking fuck, man. It's as it says, a turn-based roguelite. And, it's a XCOM gameplay, tactics game. The problem I found with it is that it is incredibly finicky to control with a controller. This is the stuff that's coming back to me right now. But I don't remember the details of the comment. I think it was relatively simple, and it was fairly easy. It was pretty accessible in that sense. But just dealing with the controls with a controller was a pain in the ass. Trying to navigate the space and move your character on this. It's not, I don't think it was grid-based. It might have been grid-based. It was grid-based. But some of the issues with the game is that you can't rotate the camera, which just seems baffling to me in a tactics game, that you can't rotate it 90 degrees. I found that very annoying. Maybe it's because the levels are built in such a way that if you rotated the camera, you'd see all the cracks and holes in it. Or all right, well, you just made the game feel worse by doing that. Congratulations. 2, if you can control, but you can't. I pressed every fucking button on the controller, and nothing made the camera rotate ever. Hitting multiple things at the same time, nothing. But one thing that really just fucking annoys me about this game, and it annoys me about a bunch of fucking games that do this, and you'll see this a lot more often when you are playing indie games, that they just choose not to include this for whatever dumb fuck reason. And I don't get it. But what I'm getting at, what I get that I don't get, is that you cannot see, there's no place, whether in the pause menu, the main menu, anywhere in the game, there's even in the inventory, whatever menu system of the actual in-game UI and everything, there's a little question mark for help and tips and what fucking have you. You can't see the controller layout for the Hand of Merlin. It does not exist in the game. They won't show you it. So you can't find out what the controller does. If you forget what a button does and you want to just double check without having to press it and see what happens via experimentation, fuck you. Don't matter. Go fucking Google it. Who even knows if it's on Google? Let me see. Is it on Google? Is it on Google? The Hand of Merlin controller layout, I guess. Let's see. The Hand of Merlin. I don't fucking give a shit about PC. The Hand of Merlin devs discuss how they're adapting. I don't care. I don't want to hear your discussions. I just want to see the gosh darn controls. Gimme. They don't exist anywhere. You want to know how the buttons work? Fuck you. That's the Hand of Merlin. So, congratulations. But, I don't know. It doesn't matter that the game seems to be pretty raw. Oh, shit. No. I'm remembering the Hand of Merlin now. I'm remembering that I love everything about it, but the fact that it's such a pain in the ass to control. Because the way it's set up is kind of similar to other roguelites or roguelikes like Slay the Spire, where you constantly have these branching paths, and when you move forward, you'll get a little bit of story, you'll have RNG come into play. The RNG seems very, very forgiving, or at least it's not overly brutal and constantly against you. And it is structured in such a way that I could see myself playing this game over and over and over again if I ever pick it up on PC, or if they added mouse and keyboard support on console. Because as much as I love the setup and then the way the game is structured, it's just annoying to control. That's the big problem. It's just funny that it's been a week. It's been a hell of a week. Lots of things have been going on. I've been changing this and that. I've been doing all these things. I've gotten back into streaming in a more real way and changed the layout, and I'm feeling pretty good about all that and whatnot. So that's exciting too. My back I had real issues with my back, so I don't blame that as well. But just the fact that I'm gradually remembering more and more about the Hand of Merlin. I fucking loved everything about this game except the act of playing it, and that's what's so frustrating, because it has a bit of a Oregon Trail type of vibe, and just that you are adventuring. And I don't remember the overarching story. It didn't really matter. It was like, oh, there are all these various versions of King Arthur and what have you, and you are your own particular version, and you're gonna go and you need to save your world. And I think it's well written. I enjoy the story. I think because of the way the game is structured, the story is paced in a way that isn't ever feeling overwhelming. You're never overloaded with a bunch of story, because you're just going from node to node, occasionally having these branching paths where you can choose between one of three or so different places, and you'll get little info about what the places are. So maybe it's a town, and in the town you'll have access to certain things that you might need, because you have to worry about supplies. If you don't have supplies, then you're going to be weaker when you get in combat. You'll have like a 30% weakness thing attached to you, and if you aren't hungry, then you can get a bit of a buff going into combat. And I really, really like the game. I just don't like the way it controls. I want to play it on PC. When it's on sale, I'll pick it up on PC. But currently, I only play it on Xbox, and it just does not feel great with the controller, sadly. But it's a very, very cool game. I'm remembering now. It's a good game. It's a good game with bad controls on console. They did not translate it that well. Then a game I played a while ago was Floppy Knights. And this is another tactics game that is in that similar vein. Kind of feels a bit more close to Advance Wars, and it may just be the more cartoony aesthetic, and that is very, very grid-based. But the thing about Floppy Knights is that it is a hybrid between of a tactics game, a strategic tactics game, and a deck building game. And this may sound fucking awesome to you, like it did to me. I said to myself, oh my god, I love tactics games. I'm not a huge strategy person, but I fucking love tactics games, because I like having the more focused, smaller scale, and I need strategy games to be turn-based. Real time is just, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. It's no, stop it, no. And I love deck building games. So how could it go wrong? And that sounded weird. How could it go wrong? How could it go wrong? You know how could it go wrong? Words coming out of my mouth. But how it went wrong in Floppy Knights is that, and I don't know if it's just it didn't come together in Floppy Knights, and another studio, maybe them with a second game or whatever, would lead to a better realization of this conceit of taking these two genres and mashing them together. But part of me feels like it's just something that sounds good conceptually in your head. It sounds good, but when you put it into practice, it's just something that can't work unless you get like the fucking perfect outcome, the perfect mixing and mashing of everything. What am I doing here? I don't know. But the problem with Floppy Knights is that this mashing of tactics and deck building, what it did is make the experience too fucking tedious for its own good. It just makes everything more complicated than it needs to be. So in order to move your character in the space on the grid base space, you have to play a card, and that allow you to move. And then you can move, like you take the card out of your deck and you place it on the character you want to move, and then you move them. And it's just all these extra steps are added now because you're not only doing the tactics thing, you're having this deck building side of things that is how you perform all your actions. So instead of just picking your actions and having action points, you've got these fucking cards that have their points and shit, whatever. And it does not work because it's just tedious. It's just too fucking complicated. It's added too many steps to the process. And the added steps didn't, with them, bring more. It didn't add extra strategy, or it didn't add anything positive along with the tedium. So it's not like balancing out the negatives are these various positives. It just made the experience worse without adding anything. So you're losing something without gaining anything in return. So that was ultimately the problem with Floppy Knights. Then Cloud Gardens is a game that I think came out on PC a year or two ago, and I was super excited about this because it just has a great visual look. It's sort of like this diorama, pixely puzzle thing where you are taking these vacant spaces, these empty lots, and placing items and seeds in them to cover them with shrubbery and greenery and what have you, completely hitting a certain percentage so they complete the level. And it just has a very, very cool look to it. It's very, very pretty. But I had to stop playing after about 20 or 30 minutes because for whatever reason, I just could not fucking figure out what the hell was going on in the game. It made me feel stupid as shit because I thought I was doing it the way you're supposed to do it, where you place a seed and then you place these various inanimate objects around the seed in this cone that they say is the thing where it'll activate and blah, blah, blah. It'll interact with the seed and get the seed to grow more and have the leaves grow more so that it can cover more of the area and you can get that percentage to 100 and move on to the next level, etc. And I did all this and it just never seemed to ever work. The plants didn't want to grow. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And the game, I don't even know if the first level really taught me anything and how it works or anything like that. So the game doesn't really help you in any way. There's a creative mode which I messed around with that I thought maybe I'll dive with this. You can, in the settings, there's an option to just unlock everything without having to play through and do it that way, which is nice. But even in the creative mode, that was more so a control thing where I didn't think on controller it felt that great because it's on Switch now. It came out on PC a while ago, as I said, but it just came out on Switch recently, and it's a big bummer because I really wanted to like it. I was excited about it from a visual standpoint, and I figured this is going to be a super relaxing, simple little puzzle game that's probably going to be super easy. It's not going to ask a lot of you, and when I failed the first time, 10 minutes or so into it, I'm like, huh? What? Why? Because I hit maybe like 70%, but that wasn't good enough. I don't know if I had to hit 100 or if it's 85, 90 is enough. But even so, I was like, what? Why are you being so strict with me? Look at you. Look at what you are. Look at what kind of game you are. You should fucking just fucking let me through. Let me through. I just want to have a pleasant little relaxing time with you. If it wasn't so strict with how high of a percentage you had to get, I probably would have jived with it more. But then I was just like, ugh, really? I failed 2 times in a row, and then I think I passed that one, and then I failed the next one, and I passed it. I was just like, I don't want to fail at this game ever. And the fact that I'm failing, no. No, 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 no. And I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Next up, we got fuck this title, Winkeltje, the Little Shop, which is a shop management game. A shop management game where you are in like a medieval setting, typical medieval setting, and you are opening up your own shop where you place items and sell shit like clothing and nails and wool and tomatoes, apples, apricots, seeds, and whatever. And it's better than I was expecting. I was a little nervous when I saw some of the screenshots that were clearly of much later games where the UI was fucking crazy and there was so much happening on screen, but it eases you into the experience pretty nicely. It says right up front that it'll get you understanding how the game works very quickly, and it's true because it is an incredibly simple game and it's super straightforward. And that is both its strength and its weakness, because I played it for about an hour and a half. You can check out the archive of that stream. I think all of these outside of Floppy Knights and the VR game I'll be talking about after this, you'll be able to see the archive, the stream archives, if you want to see me playing them in the moment and get a better idea. I definitely watch the Hand of Merlin one, because then you'll actually not see me and hear me remembering the experience in a fucking stupid ass way like I did. Winkeltje. It's a stupid fucking title. It's Wink, Winkeltja. TJE. Winkeltje. But the way it's set up is that you just are designing your shop gradually when you set it up in the normal sense, because you don't have that much money. You can't build it out super fast. There are creative modes and 5 different difficulty levels. You can go bankrupt in all of them, but the easiest. But even on the default normal difficulty, which is what I played on, it seemed pretty fucking easy. I don't know if stuff could happen where I could end up bankrupt, because it seems like you're always going to make at least some money unless you do something. I don't know what you could possibly do, given my little time of the game, that could lead to bankruptcy outside of, I don't know, setting your fucking shop on fire. I don't think you can actually do that in the game, but maybe that could happen. And then, okay, I get it. I guess there are the points where you need to pay off your debt, and if you don't actually have the money, but I always had the money, and I wasn't even remembering or trying to save up money for when those moments happen. But the way it works is that you, at the beginning of the day, your shop's closed. You can set it up and do whatever you want. I mean, this is the first time. Usually it's set up where you have your shop, you open it up, people come in, they'll buy shit. You place them on various things that are specifically designed for holding objects for sale. People will pick something up if they want it, go to the cashier's table, whatever it's called, and pay for it there. But if there's something else they want in addition to that you don't have out on display, they will be waiting in line, and you can go up to them and interact with them. And if you have it in your inventory, but just don't have it out on display because you don't have enough places to display everything, you can sell to them there and they'll pay for it along with the other stuff they bought. Or you can just tell them, I don't have this, and they'll go off and leave and pay for whatever they did pick up, or just leave if they didn't pick up anything else. There will be a trader who comes every day when the shop is open. You can use this to buy things at a discount and then sell them for a high price, or just make a higher profit because you're buying them while the The market is it the thing that's frustrating about the game, you will also level up as you sell more and whatnot and sell items, etc. And every 5 levels you unlock a crafting or a skill point, which you can use to unlock abilities, like the ability to craft weapons or the ability to farm, etc. The problem with the game is that, again, it is super simple, super straightforward, and this is true for all aspects of it, in that you have if you do at any point, it wasn't clear within the first hour and a half, you have no control over the actual pricing and finer details of your shop experience. All you really can do is buy items, or as you progress and level up, you'll be able to just craft items yourself. You'll still need to buy the raw material to be able to build it, so you'll have to buy iron in order to craft nails. But when you're able to craft them, you'll be able to craft way more and make much more of a profit than just buying nails and then selling them at a higher price. But you can't adjust the pricing. So in a game that has a similar type of thing but also has much more going on, Moonlighter, when you would set up your shop, which is a very similar way, you place the items, you are the one setting the prices, and you are in that process trying to figure out what the market will pay for something, and you're trying to find something where you can sell it, make as much as you can while not upsetting people. And if you keep selling the same item, it'll get oversaturated, so you have to be wary of that. None of that seems to be the case in Winkeltje. It's just everything's done for you, and it makes it a very relaxing experience to an extent, because you don't have to think at all. You can really just turn your brain off. It makes it a good podcasting game because you don't have to pay attention or think about anything. But at the same time, I felt like I had gotten pretty much all I would get out of the game after just an hour and a half with it. And my motivation to keep playing was not there. So it's not a bad game. It's just a pretty dull one. And one it's the kind of game that I look at and I think to myself, I'd probably play the shit out of this and enjoy it and its simplicity while listening to podcasts and whatever, if I wasn't somebody who had thousands of games in their backlog, thousands of games I could play instead, because there's no reason for me to spend any more time with this game. But if it was me in my younger years where I didn't really have much, and if I had this game, I'd be happy enough with it. But it's a game that if you don't have any other options, it's good enough. But if you have any other options, just fucking don't spend time on Winkeltje. Then the one VR game which I played, and it's the first VR game I've played in a long time, is MOTHERGUNSHIP Forge, which is the VR version of MOTHERGUNSHIP, which came out I think like 2-3 years ago, and it was a first-person shooter, run-based first-person shooter, roguelite, where you are constantly finding attachments for your two guns, your two arm guns essentially, and creating more and more elaborate, crazy, ridiculous guns. So you can have your left arm shoot shotguns that are made of electricity, but it also shoots a machine gun and shoots this other thing. And it's just like you create these ridiculous Lego-esque elaborate gun setups, and then of course when you die, you lose your run, you start off from scratch. As you progress, you'll unlock new weapon types that will show up in a run, And it works really well in VR. I'm playing on the Quest 2. It looks pretty good. What I like about it is that they really seem to have thought of how to make it a satisfying VR experience that isn't too sick-inducing for people who would be more inclined to that, because when enemies are shooting, so the way it works is that you're just going room to room to room to room, and I think it's basically set up the same way as the first game, the original game. I haven't played that in a long time, so I can't remember exactly. But when you enter a room, you'll be stationed in a specific place. You don't walk around or anything, and enemies will keep appearing. They'll keep spawning in until you've defeated all of them. And when they attack you, there are these little ones that will hit you melee wise, but for the most part, they're flying enemies or enemies like turrets that will shoot at you. The only thing that you have to worry about in terms of getting hit is your head. That is the only hit box. Your body, none of that matters. So you just need to avoid things with your head. You just need to dodge shit like that. And the fact that that's the only thing you have to be concerned about makes it a lot easier avoiding projectiles and the like. And it makes it more comfortable. It also makes it a little bit easier in terms of having to move around. You don't have to move around super crazy. But the act of attaching gun parts and whatnot to your various arms feels pretty good in VR. I don't know. It's super simple, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I didn't play too much of it because I got the general idea of it, and it's like, okay, this is okay. The thing is, it's very stripped down for VR, and it works. But what it did make me want to do is go back and play the original. So that's where I am. I'm gonna go play the original at some point. Maybe it'll be an Attack the Backlog game, because I only played a little bit of it. But this VR game has got me hankering for some other gunship spankering. Then the last game I played is the Tale of Bistun, which is an action-adventure game. Very story-driven. It's based on, I don't remember what it's based on. It's based on some kind of actual fairy tale type of thing. And it's incredibly well told. The voice acting narration is very, very, very good. The problem with the story, though, is that as good as the voice acting narration and all that is, I don't think the story is all that interesting. So I didn't really care about the story. And then the game itself looks really good. I like the art quite a bit. It's very reminiscent of Torchlight, and it's in that hack and slash vein of Torchlight and Diablo and games like that. But the problem with the Tale of Bistun is that, one, it's apparently very, very, very short. How Long to Beat has 3 completions on it, and the average is like 2.5 hours. I think there was a 2 hour, a 2.5, and a 2.5. It's short, and it's $18. $15 seems like the max for this game because the story is but more so than that, it is so fucking easy. It is ridiculously easy. There are no difficulty options, and the only controls are attack, dodge roll, ability, and sprint. That's it. That's it. There's no stamina at all, so you can dodge roll to your heart's content. You're invincible throughout the entire animation of your dodge roll. 100% iframes. So you just dodge roll all the fucking time. Attacking is just mashing the X button on Xbox. You know, it'll be different depending on the controller. And your ability is the right bumper, which has works off a cooldown, but you don't get any additional abilities, just the one, and that's it. You do get an alternate pickaxe because you're this dude who uses pickaxes as your weapon. And you will unlock a second one. And then not much later, I mean much later in the game, relatively speaking, I think I don't remember if they worded it this way, but I think they may have worded it and said, you can now switch between the two on the fly, which is fucking bullshit if they actually said that. I don't think they actually said that, because if they did, it's a load of shit. You can't switch between them on the fly at this point or after a certain point. All you can do is constantly find, very frequently, these little statue things where you can switch between your two different ones. Why they don't let you just do it yourself? Maybe add a little flavor to the fucking combat? Spice it up a bit more? Who fucking knows? But combat is super fucking simple, because all you're doing is attacking with one button, dodge rolling so that you avoid attacks, and using your ability when you have it available. And that's it. That's it. And what you're doing in this game is going in these areas that have trees, sentient trees that have been corrupted, and you save them. You'll know how many you have to save in a specific area, and when you save them all, then you go to this like mystical land where you can no longer sprint, and there's never any combat or interesting puzzles or anything. It's all super linear. It looks cool. It's very story centric, those parts, but it's also kind of dull, and it's dragged out by the fact you can't sprint, because fucking why let you sprint? Okay, cool, but cool game. You want me to take the story in? Is that why? You're just annoying me. You're dragging out. You're basically making your hour-long game into 2 hours because you won't let me sprint in these sections. I see what you're doing there, buddy. I see what you're doing there. But the combat is just, after a while, it feels so because there's just so little to it. And I'm pretty sure too that when you are attacking an enemy, your attacks cancel their animations all the time. And my belief of this is that when I would attack enemies, I just figured I'd just try continuously attacking them without ever dodge rolling and seeing if they could land an attack on me. And it seemed like always, unless I was surrounded by enemies and was testing this out, then I would still take damage, and I would assume that's from an enemy I wasn't attacking. It seems like attacking enemies cancels their animations, their attacks, etc. So the combat is even simpler and requires little thought or strategy or any type of consideration. So it's got a good look to it. It's got a story that's well told, if uninteresting. But the gameplay is unbelievably simple. It's so fucking simple. I can't believe how super simple it is. But yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just an overly simplistic one. And I wish the combat had more to it, like a Diablo, where if I held down a trigger, the face buttons would then give me access to additional abilities. I wish I could better create my character in such a way that they played in my preferred style. I just wish there was more to the gameplay, because as it stands, it doesn't, to just paint a picture, it's different in the sense that you're not fighting thousands and thousands of enemies. The combat is less complicated and has less depth than a Musou game. So your Dynasty Wars, etc., those are infinitely more complicated and feel more satisfying combat-wise, gameplay-wise, than the fucking gameplay in the Tale of Bistun. That's how fucking simple and basic this thing is. But you don't have the satisfaction of defeating a whole bunch of enemies at one time. You just defeat some stone goblins here and there and some big dudes, and none of it's ever challenging. The only time my attacks weren't canceling out in enemies' animations was when I fought this big dude. Because I didn't finish the game. That's telling too. It's apparently super short, and you know what? Not that driven to finish it. The quick resume functionality is also kind of dog shit on it, and it just kind of like, I don't know, resets every now. It's untrustworthy quick resume. But yeah, that is the Tale of Bistun. And speaking of soon, that's gonna do it for this here episode of the Pixelated Sausage Show. However, I got some Patreon questions. That's right. I thought, what's a dumb benefit I could give patrons? Because I don't want to give them anything of actual substance. I could ask them or have them ask me some questions for the show. And that's something that could happen. So that's what happened. And I got some dumb questions. I asked for dumb questions, and I got dumb questions. So we're going to go through these pretty quickly. The people asked multiple questions. There's definitely new rule. Next time, 1 question per person. But let's see. What do we got here? From Lunchbox 700. Just call him Lunchbox. We all know who Lunchbox is. What's the best sandwich? Well, if we're just considering sandwiches 2 pieces of bread and some kind of shit in between, then I would say I have great fondness for Italian sausage. And this brings up the whole conundrum of, is a hot dog a sandwich? Sure, why? I don't fucking care. But as much as I love Italian sausage, it is something that is a bit too weighty for an everyday type of sandwich. Fuck. Oh, shit. Never mind. I was going to say Italian beef because I love Italian beef. What the fuck am I thinking about? The best sandwich, unquestionably, sausage biscuit with egg from McDonald's. Best fast food. Easy. No question. One of my favorite things in the world. I love it so much. I haven't had it in 10 plus years because I don't eat shit food anymore. And it's definitely not good for you. Menchie, why do you hate hills? I don't hate hills. I hate hilly cities. I don't like it because the main reason is just the sense of unease that comes from, say, being at a stoplight at an angle on a hill and just sitting there feeling this sensation like I should be falling backward because we're not moving, but we're not going backward. It makes me feel weird. I don't like it. But I mean, in a forest preserve, if there's a hill, I'm like, oh, that's nice. I also don't like hills or hilly environments because I'm asthmatic, and hills can really make that shit fucking suck ass. Rate this fictional woman from Jedi. Yes, Jedi. She's a 10 who mains Lifeline but never heals. If you don't know what this is a reference to, it is a reference to a legend in Apex Legends, Lifeline, who is the main healer class, main healer character. And if she's a 10 who mains Lifeline and never heals, she's a fucking 0 in my book. Because you know what? She clearly is just a selfish piece of shit who only thinks of herself. And you know what? She can fuck off. Another one from Lunchbox. If I became stupid rich tomorrow, what would be the first thing I'd do? I thought about this, and I think the thing I would do is find out everything a person by the name of Levity loves, buy all of it, and then give it away for free to everyone but him. That's what I would do. From Sunny, Mr. Black. Just Sunny or Slutty, depending on how well you know him. If you had to choose, would you rather lose 80% of the flexibility of your legs or your arms? Easy, legs. I don't think most people would pick arms because you lose so much more functionality and ability to do pretty much anything. If you lose the majority of the functionality in your arms than in your legs, sure, I won't be able to run anymore or whatever. But guess what? If I lost the majority of functionality in my arms, I mean, playing video games, not gonna be easy. You know, there are ways where you could learn to use your feet or some shit. But like, I can no longer play games. I can no longer draw. I can no longer do so many things that. Why? No, I don't need to walk around. Okay, I'm good. Easy. Another one from Lunchbox. What is the stupidest thing you've ever done? Besides this, of course. We're gonna get a little serious here. Stupidest thing I ever did is see how high my tolerance for alcohol was, because I knew it was high, especially for me and my relative size, and then I decided this one evening to really test it out and see what my limits were. I blacked out. There's a good chunk of that night I don't remember. I threw up blood, and I am probably lucky to be alive. So that is easily the stupidest thing I ever did. And I'm usually pretty intelligent and don't do stupid things like that. I haven't had a drink since, and I'm never going to ever again. And I've had friends who are like, oh, come on, it's okay. You don't just drink in moderation now. Those people aren't friends anymore. And I don't like anyone who would try and push someone who has a very strong desire to not do something ever again, just because they're like, oh, just don't do that again. Like, no. I mean, sure, I could drink in moderation. I don't feel like I'm incapable of doing that. Like, if I drank again, I would be dumb again. But I've never enjoyed drinking. That's why I never really did it in the past. And then I just wanted to test it out this one time. And I was just like, no. And then the last question we have is another one from Sunny. Would you rather eat 3 normal bananas or 1 really large banana? I don't know what this question is, Sunny. I mean, how really large is it? Can I cut it up, or do I have to like deep throat it? Like, you're not being specific. If it's 3 normal bananas, if it's 3 normal bananas and then 1 banana that is the equivalent of 3 normal bananas, what's the fucking difference? Unless I can't cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Also, my answer is neither, because I don't want to eat fucking bananas. I mean, bananas are good. They taste good. I don't want to eat them. That's it, though. They're all your dumb questions. Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. Clearly, we're in that rocky part of me returning to podcasting in this form, and it being something I have to get used to again. Also, it's been a hell of a week. Holy crap. So, yeah. I feel bad for stuff like Hand of Merlin, where I fucking was gradually remembering it as I was talking about it. But I think things overall are pretty positive here. I hope you all had a good time with this here episode. And yeah, that'll do it for this here episode. Once again, I am Mark Krishnez. Y'all can find me on Twitter and pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. You can find all my links of import over at pixelatedsausage.com/PXS. You can also see me streaming games here on the YouTubes if you're watching the video version of this show. And of course, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that jazz if you haven't already. And if you are listening to the audio version, do that too. Go over to the YouTubes just so you can like, subscribe, and hit the bell and all that shit. But yeah, if you do like any of the crap I do and what have you, you can go over to patreon.com/pxs and support me that way. And of course, if you support me via Patreon, you can ask me dumb questions like, would I rather eat 3 normal bananas or 1 really large banana? Whoa, what the fuck's wrong with you, Sonny? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. But there's one of your benefits. It's literally the only benefit to being a patron currently, is being able to ask me stupid questions that I will fucking answer. So if that sounds like something you want to do, that is again patreon.com/pxs. But that is it. That is all. Always thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye. It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time. Go